And if you can't afford to buy it, then I would rather you be able to read the book at least. Because I remember a time when I couldn't afford novels. I mean, I still bought them. I spent my paper route money on them, but I went to the libraries and checked out half the books I read because I was just reading too much, and I want it to be free. So I didn't have a problem with this. I don't know if they would let me do it again, just because it scared them so much. I've told them if I write the sequel to Warbreaker, I will do it the same way and release them online because it's the theme of the books. One of the sub-themes. I don't think it hurt me. We still hit the New York Times bestseller list. I mean, it hit 23 when Mistborn, the book before it hit 21, but it's a standalone. And standalones never sell as many copies. It sold slightly fewer copies than Mistborn 3. About what I expected it to do as a standalone, I think it only helped. There's no way to really know. If it had tanked completely, then maybe we could point a finger at this, but we can't really say either way. And one of the things is I did this before the Wheel of Time thing happened. And so I feel that Warbreaker being there, one thing you can't really measure is how many Wheel of Time fans said, who is this Brandon Sanderson Joker? Went to my website and were able to download a book to at least read and say, oh, okay, this is different, but at least it's not crap. And you know, how many people we relieved, we soothed by just them being able to do that. I don't think we can measure that. And so I was really glad that that book was there. That, you know, Warbreaker is not the book that I would immediately hand to a Wheel of Time fan and say, oh, if you like Wheel of Time, you'll like this book, because it's doing different things. It's much more focused on the humor in the world and stuff like that. I would probably hand the Mistborn because it kind of deals with some of the same concepts, but even it is not epic in the same way that Wheel of Time is. You know, if I find someone who really likes Wheel of Time, I might, you know, hand them Tad Williams or Steven Erikson. You know, I think that that book was there that helped with that. I don't know. So there you go. And that's a non-answer to your question, but it's, yeah. All right, other questions?
Are there definitely only going to be 4 Alcatraz books? And if so, do you have plans for other middle grade?
Oh, wow, someone actually reads my Alcatraz books. Yay! If you're not familiar with Alcatraz, this is my loony middle grade series about a kid who discovers librarians secretly rule the world. It was written as an improv comedy book, written by myself to keep myself relaxed and loose between Mistborn novels, so that I could do something different, so I didn't get burned out. I do this a lot, and then it actually sold. There are 4 in the contract, and I've completed that contract. I've told my publisher and my agent that I cannot justify taking time away from the Wheel of Time to write a 5th one right now, because I just did the Stormlight Archive, and that got all my wiggles out for doing something different, if that makes sense. Beyond that, Scholastic has not gotten the books in the bookstores in the way that I wanted them to. They're really hard to find. If you haven't heard of them, there's a reason, because they're really hard to find. You essentially have to go into Barnes & Noble and say, or to an independent, like the wonderful Eagle Eye booksellers who are here right now. By the way, independent booksellers are awesome, so really just go look at their yeah, they really are. Spend some time, look at what they've got. We need to support our little bookstores, otherwise we'll lose them, and then we won't have people to give us advice on books and things. Anyway, I love little bookstores, so you have to go to a bookstore like that and ask them to order it in. Eagle Eye might have some here. They do? Oh, awesome. Well, if you haven't read these books and you're looking for something relaxing and fun, they're comedy fantasies about people who have really screwy magical powers that they use in cool ways. It's kind of like Mystery Men done as a fantasy novel, okay? People who have magical, yeah. That's kind of the best analogy, except for kids. I do have plotted another book in the Alcatraz series that will be the ending. I'm leaving you in the penultimate book. I'm sorry, but I guess it kind of fits for this series. By the way, the series is about making fun of the reader too, so. I will write that someday. I might bring it back to Tor, bring the books to Tor and do an omnibus of all 4 so people can actually find them in bookstores and then write the last one. There's that. DreamWorks Animation does hold the movie rights, and if the film gets made, that will change things drastically. But you know, that's Hollywood. We have Larry here nodding. How often do films actually get made to get optioned? I've read the screenplay. I like the screenplay. Katzenberg is on the record as saying, I think this would make a better live action film than an animated film. So who knows what'll happen? The option expires in July. We'll know then if they decide to pick it up or not. But I do have other plans. In fact, if you come to my reading, I will probably read from a middle grader YA book, just because I have several of them on my computer sitting there unfinished. And there's a chance that I might decide to release one of those next year, so that we have a solo Brandon Sanderson title for next year. In fact, I've approached her. There is one that I finished and completely wrote, but haven't had time to revise. And if I took a month off between Towers of Midnight and A Memory of Light, I could spend 1 month, revise this book, and have a book that I can at least release, because I know Stormlight 2 isn't going to be out. I might do that, so you may see something like that next year. So come to the reading and I'll talk about those different books. The one that I have finished is a steampunk. I wrote it 4 years ago. Wow. I wrote it 4 years ago, or 3 years ago. 3 years ago. I wrote it 3 years ago because it was my diversion book that I wrote in 2007 before the Wheel of Time ran into me, as I say. And it's about a chalkboard magic where people draw with chalk and things happen. And the premise for it was you know, this is what I do with books. You know, I love these wizard school books. But no one ever tells the story of the cleaning lady's son, who is not a wizard, who just works there. And so this is the story of a muggle at Hogwarts. It's the story of a kid who can't do the magic, but he's this total fanboy for the magic system. He's the son of the cleaning lady who's able to go to the school because, you know, he gets, you know, by working there, he can go. So he can take the classes, except the magic ones. And it's his story when murders start happening at this steampunk magic school. So anyway. It's really wacky and fun. I have that one, and I have a dark dystopian superhero book that I'll probably read something from, or something in my reading. Okay, we got time for one more question, and this hand has been way up back there. Oh, hi, I know you.
Yes, who were hosting?
Yeah.
Well, I would like to repeat the question. What would happen if Rand decided to balefire Leavenworth Smedley?
Man, you guys are really into asking this question. What would happen if Rand decided to balefire Leavenworth Smedley? Leavenworth Smedley's superpower, he's in the Alcatraz books. His superpower is that he can arrive magically late to appointments. Yeah, I warned you. I think he would get lost on the way there and never show up to wherever Rand wanted to balefire him, because his talent would engage and he would end up getting there late. So right after Rand left, he'd show up and say, well, can I have an appointment here? So Rand would not be able to balefire him because he would just never get there, wherever Rand wanted to find him. So that's how the talents work in this magic powers work in this Smedley books. Okay, I will be around answering questions. In fact, I'll sit up here for a few more minutes. Thank you guys for coming. Come to the reading where I'll do some more of this. So, yeah. And by the way, nobody got Rappoed. I think, was my introduction that scared you away from that or whatever? No one got Rappoed. I do have the cards, you know. I have to give some of them to Maria. You can't get a Rappo card for Asmodean questions. I've already given out too many for that.